Good morning, traders. This is your daily market breakdown. I'm on the GBP USD on the daily time frame. We can see that we are trending into the upside. We have broken market structure numerous times with full body candle breaks moving into the upward direction. We saw the price came up. It had taken liquidity above these previous daily highs. And now we're seeing this slight retracement back into the downside. It's looking like this is a potential pullback before then moving up even higher. And so if we drop down to the 4-hourly time frame, we can see that the price came down. It entered that now verified demand zone. It came back up. It took liquidity resting and entering into this daily supply zone, and then it pushed itself back down again, breaking the market structure before a light pullback, and that was to the 0.5 fib. And this whole structure here really was around this week's economic data and the peace talks within the Middle East. And now what we have seen are the technicals are starting to really play out by the price coming down, hitting that downside target one. So if you had taken a short position from the beginning, I think it was the beginning of this week when I mentioned it, congratulations. And now what we're seeing is this strong rejection candle, and I can zoom in even more onto the hourly, a really beautiful, strong rejection candle. And it looks like the price is now wanting to push into the upside. There's been all the economic data, most of the economic data has come out this week, although it is a Friday, but there seems to be quite a lot of positive news around ceasefire deals. And it seems like the price is likely now going to push into the upside. And so I will be today looking for a nice entry point, perhaps when there's a full body breaker structure here on the hourly, or I'll dive into the 15-minutely. When I see a nice full body break there, I am likely going to enter that position, putting my stop just below the previous low and targeting these previous highs up here. That is how I would likely play that today. Going over to Euro US dollar, let's zoom back out to the daily frame. We should be seeing something relatively similar as the GU. We have seen that the price came up, it entered into that supply zone, it grabbed liquidity, and then as you would expect, we see this long rejection candle pushing it back into the downside, coming back and hitting these potential demand zones. I don't think it hit perfectly there, but it did hit it on this one. And now what I'm going to be looking for is also a long position, because remember, guys, we are in an uptrend on GU and the euro dollar. We are seeing a nice bit of rejection and reaction to this area here, potentially on the 4-hour, maybe waiting for this to be broken and then enter a position targeting these previous highs, or even the highest high from where that liquidity was previously taken. I'll be happy to take that risk. And it seems as though this could play out. I am waiting for the London session to start as well. Like I'd like to see what London is planning on doing. But ultimately, I am now looking for long positions on the euro dollar and the GU. If I zoom in even more, we can see that it almost pulled into this tap in demand zone. It would have been nice for it to, of course, have gone full throttle into it. But honestly, this seems still quite promising to me, because the price came up, came down, massive rejection candle, and this aligns very nicely with the fundamentals, as well as the new sentiment around the Middle East conflict. Let's head over to USD JPY. Absolutely stunning. I am looking to short this market. This is why I stayed out of it. So if you had joined me on the live trading session, then you would have known that I didn't want to enter into a position, because I did want to enter into a position into the downside, but I deferred myself because of this horrible consolidation that we are in. And I was afraid that the DXY would want to push higher, which it did do, and we'll go over to DXY in just a moment. But ultimately, I am looking to short this market. I'm just looking for the right confirmation and entry points. I was a little bit cautious on all of this. So what we can see at the moment is that it has re-entered into a verified supply zone, which is a very attractive area for traders, for sellers to jump in and push the price back down. We are seeing some nice bits of liquidity resting below these levels here. And so if we are going to start shorting this market, then we're likely going to want to look for really nice, strong pieces of confirmation on the lower time frames. Potentially here, we could wait for this to be fully broken with a full body break, and then enter into a position, being very conservative because, as I said, I do not like this currency pair at the moment, and just take a 1 to 2, 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio. I think that's 1 to 2.5 here, but I'll be very conservative. But I am certainly looking to short this, the USD JPY. Hopefully today, that would be really good. If I see the confirmation, I likely would enter into that position, but I don't see this going up even higher. Hopefully it doesn't, because then that will kind of ruin all the GU and E euro dollar entry points as well. So, yep, very bearish on the USD JPY. So let's now go over to the DXY. And what we're seeing on the DXY is that the price, let me zoom out again, guys. Let me bring this back out. Played very nicely into the technicals, where we could see the price climbing up into this supply zone, which is now a verified supply zone. We can see that there was a really strong reaction when it entered into the supply zone. And now we're likely looking at the DXY falling, which is certainly just going to be absolutely beautiful for all of our other trades. And I see the price falling quite aggressively, especially if these peace talks go very well. Then we're likely going to see the price, the DXY, move into one of these unverified demand zones down here. So I think this is the daily and this is the weekly. And so that would be my price point. That would be my price target where I'd want to go. Of course, it would take several days to get there, but ultimately we're looking at a potential strong reversal from this area. And so if I were to enter, I would certainly be looking for a nice 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. I'll be putting my stop. I'll be adjusting my stop, actually. I'll likely be trailing my stop, but I'll be looking at something such as this, like a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio on the DXY. That is exactly that's the setup, the potential setup that I would want to be monitoring. I just want to then jump down into the hourly frames and start looking at potential confirmation areas. This itself down here would be an ideal confirmation area, but I would likely want to enter even sooner than that. So I'll probably jump down. Yeah, I can see something happening here. So if I see this line get broken with a full body break, this would act as my confirmation to enter into that position, and then I would just short and trail my stop loss as best I can. So yeah, very bearish on the DXY, just because this aligns very nicely with a lot of the fundamentals that we have been seeing across the UK, and also the sentiment on the news that has been coming out. Okay, BTC USDT has been playing very, very nicely. And as I said in the live stream, we are likely going to see a push up to the 90,000. Eventually, it would be nice to see the price come back down to this unverified demand zone, but it looks like it's already found its own area of support. Let's just dive into the 1 hourly, see if there was something there. No, just entering into that fair value gap that was left there. And it seems as though it wants to use the fair value gap as its area of support. And now we're likely seeing a really nice push into the upside. I am bullish on BTC. You know, I don't really trade this currency pair, but it has played very nicely into our technicals, especially throughout this week. So I'll be waiting for confirmation above this line. And then if I were to enter, I would enter around here, putting my stop quite low down, it seems, and trying to target a 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio that should fall in line on the higher time frames. Let's have a look at the higher time frames. To the daily, yeah. So I'd be looking at targeting up here the 90,000 US dollar mark. So if we do break above this 200 EMA, then we're likely just going to run all the way up to the 90,000. So I am quite bullish, although we are in a bearish state at the moment on the daily. I think the trend here is changing, and on the 4 hourly, we're quite bullish. So we're producing higher highs and higher lows, which is a good indication that we are going to continue into the upside. So yeah, this looks like a quite nice little setup for me, although I personally wouldn't enter into BTC because I don't trade it. So, but that's my analysis for the BTC. Over to gold, we are seeing, unfortunately, one of my trades did not play out very well from last week. It seems as though we are changing trends at the moment, changing directions into the downside, although I am ultimately bullish. So what we might be seeing is a little bit more of a pullback into... we seem to have entered into this demand zone, so there could be a potential long. It seems a bit of a precarious market because this is in line with the DXY. So I would be a little bit skeptical on whether entering along. I kind of want to see what happens here. But we have entered into a demand zone. And so if I were to enter into a position, which around this area would be a nice area, placing my stop just below this zone here and targeting some of these previous highs up here, that would be how I would play doing along with on gold. If we zoom in a little bit closer though, yeah, same thing. Like I wouldn't be too afraid of taking a long position just to try and just target these highs here, just for a quick win. I don't know if the price is going to jump all the way up to here. And if it does, then we are looking for, does look like a continuation into the upside. But historically, as we know, if the ceasefire talks go very, very well, then we're likely going to see quite a bit of more liquidation within gold before it moves higher. And so I would be a little bit cautious on that at the same time. So I wouldn't want to be entering into positions on gold, at least long-term positions on gold. I'll be looking for more short-term stuff. We can see a really nice bit of liquidity grab going on here within the hour. We're likely going to see a little bit, another little push into the upside before moving down potentially. But yeah, this seems to be quite a precarious market for me to enter. So I can't really give I can't really see anything too specific here. Ultimately, there's a lot of liquidity resting above these levels. So, I mean, on the higher time frames, I am bullish. On the lower time frames, I'm very bearish. So I'll be quite cautious. I'll just take a look and see what the London session is doing and look for some nice breaks of structure into either side. And there it is, traders. That is your daily market breakdown.